Hey there, story seekers, and welcome to Storybook Journeys. I'm your guide through realms of wonder and worlds yet undiscovered. Pull up a cozy chair, brew your favorite drink, and prepare to wander through tales that will transport you far beyond the ordinary. Whether you're a first-time traveler or a seasoned explorer of our narrative landscapes, today's story awaits your imagination. So turn the page with me as we embark on another unforgettable adventure. There are places on this earth where the boundaries between worlds grow thin, places where the impossible becomes merely improbable and the improbable becomes truth. This is the story of Elias Thornwood, cartographer of the unknown, and his journey to map the greatest frontier of all, the space between realities. By morning, 3 porters had deserted, taking with them a portion of the supplies. The Sherpas performed rituals of protection, burning juniper branches and chanting prayers to mountain deities. Elias, however, was exhilarated. His theories were proving correct. This region was indeed a nexus point between realities. On the 33rd day, the expedition discovered the first artifact. Half buried in a snowfield at 18,000 feet, an altitude where nothing should have been built by human hands, stood an archway carved from a single piece of obsidian-like material. Symbols unlike any known language adorned its surface, shifting slightly when viewed from different angles. Elias approached the arch with his anomalous compass extended before him. As he neared the threshold, the needle spun faster until it became a blur of motion. The air around the opening seemed to ripple, like heat waves rising from sun-baked earth, but carrying the chill of infinite space. What happened next would be recorded in Elias's journal as the first crossing. As twilight descended upon the mountain, the space within the archway changed. The view of the rocks and snow beyond its frame wavered, then dissolved entirely, replaced by a vista of impossible geography, floating islands connected by bridges of light beneath a sky of swirling aurora colors. My God, it's another world entirely! Elias alone stepped forward, drawn by a lifetime of seeking exactly this moment. The boundary between worlds had thinned to transparency, and he stood at the threshold of discovery beyond imagining. I must know, Elias wrote in his final journal entry that evening. Tomorrow, I cross over. I have left instructions with Ellsworth. If I do not return within 3 days, the expedition is to leave without me, taking my journals back to London. Jonathan will know what to do with them. Dawn broke clear and cold on the 34th day. The archway's transformation had stabilized, the portal to the other realm remaining open. Elias prepared himself methodically, packing only essential instruments, his anomalous compass surveying tools, journals, water and provisions for 5 days. With no ceremony beyond a final adjustment of his pack, Elias Thornwood stepped through the archway and vanished from our world. The landscape responded to his presence. Flowers, unlike any terrestrial species, unfurled as he passed, releasing spores that glowed like fireflies. Paths appeared before him, only to vanish once he had passed, and always watching from just beyond clear sight were shapes that suggested intelligent movement. By what his watch still registered as midday, Elias had reached the base of the spiral tower. Up close, it revealed itself to be not a structure built by hands, but a natural formation, or what passed for natural in this realm. It twisted upward like a DNA helix, composed of a material that shifted between stone, metal, and something like living tissue. I am certain now that this tower is the nexus I have sought, Elias wrote, his handwriting growing more hurried, excited. Not merely a connection between my world and this one, but a junction linking countless realities. The patterns match those I've documented at anomalous sites across Earth. This is the center of the web. As Elias began his ascent of the spiral path that wound around the tower, the environment grew increasingly surreal. Gravity weakened until he found himself taking bounds that carried him 20 feet upward. The air thickened, becoming almost liquid in his lungs, yet somehow providing even greater clarity of thought. Halfway up the tower, Elias encountered the custodians. They were not creatures as we understand life, more like intersections of energy and matter, shifting between forms that suggested both insect and avian characteristics, yet fundamentally unlike either. They moved around Elias in patterns that gradually revealed themselves as communication. They speak in mathematics, universal constants expressed through motion rather than sound. They're asking why I've come. Through a combination of drawings, gestures, and his own intuitive understanding of their mathematical language, Elias conveyed his purpose: to map the connections between worlds, to understand the greater structure of reality itself. The custodians' response came as a collective shift in formation. The custodians' response came as a collective shift in formation. The very substance of the tower beneath Elias's feet became transparent, revealing the structure's true nature. A vast three-dimensional map of interconnected realities, each junction pulsing with light and possibility. "They are showing me everything," Elias wrote, his words barely legible in his excitement. "Every world, every possibility connected through these nexus points. Earth is but one node in an infinite network. And they have been waiting for centuries, millennia perhaps, for someone to find their way here. Not to conquer or claim, but simply to know." The custodians led Elias to the tower's apex, where the spiral path terminated in a platform that seemed suspended between realities. Here, the boundaries between worlds were at their thinnest. With gestures that transcended language, they offered him a choice. "I can return home with the knowledge I've gained, or I can continue onward, not just to one new world, but to many." They offer me the role of traveller, to journey between realities as their ambassador, to map not just the connections I've theorized, but countless others beyond imagination. 3 days after Elias Thornwood stepped through the obsidian arch, Dr. Ellsworth and the remaining expedition members watched the portal begin to fluctuate. The alien landscape beyond wavered like a mirage, then solidified once more. From the threshold emerged Elias, changed in ways both subtle and profound. His hair had turned silver overnight. His eyes reflected colours not found in our spectrum. And strapped to his back was an object impossible to describe directly, a map that seemed to exist in more dimensions than the human mind could process. "Pack everything. Our work has just begun." The journals that returned from that expedition formed the foundation of what would become known as threshold theory, the study of interconnected realities and the passages between them. Elias Thornwood spent the remaining 40 years of his life leading expeditions to nexus points across the globe, documenting doorways to 17 distinct realities. The Royal Geographic Society, which had once mocked his theories, eventually established the Thornwood Division for Interdimensional Cartography. The Obsidian Arch in the Karakoram became the first officially recognized and protected interdimensional landmark, guarded by an international coalition, and Elias himself? On his 80th birthday, having completed his magnum opus, a grand unified map of known reality thresholds, he returned one last time to the arch where it all began. "My work in this world is complete," read his final journal entry. "The custodians call, and new realms await mapping. To those who follow, the boundaries between worlds are not barriers but invitations. Step through with wonder rather than fear." Elias Thornwood stepped through the Obsidian Arch on October 17, 1939, and was never seen again in this reality. But across the world, at nexus points he had mapped, explorers occasionally report glimpses of an elderly gentleman with silver hair and impossible eyes, making notations on a map that seems to fold in directions that shouldn't exist. For some frontiers have no final boundaries, and the greatest explorers never truly stop discovering. Until next time, remember that life's too short for boring content. If this video added a spark to your day, hit that subscribe button and join our growing Curiosity Club. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and I'll meet you right back here for another adventure. Stay legendary.